This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
But man, did he finish up top in overtime. Buck 66 and 3 touchdowns. That one to Devonta Smith, and Bama wins the national title by 3. And now the game that has just concluded, although you might argue it was over long before the clock hit zeros. Trevor Lawrence, simply spectacular. Under the gun, fires a dart to T. Higgins, 3 touchdowns, 347, and Clemson by 28 over Alabama. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit join us now, and man, you guys grind so hard and do such a great job to prepare for these and to prepare for any eventuality, but I can't imagine in the wee hours of the morning you got to the fill with a 28-point Clemson lead, and that's what happened. The result, not a surprise that Clemson won, but the way they did it obviously is shock. Fellas, if you could just describe for me why you think it happened the way it did.
Well, we both had a good feeling about Clemson's chances tonight, but yeah, certainly, Scott, not expecting that. If the first 2 championship game encounters were kind of won on points, jabs at the end, this was, as you said, a knockout. And from 16-13, in your wildest dreams, did you see Saban giving up 31 unanswered as Clemson just landed haymaker after haymaker, and they finally quit?
You brought up 16-13. Scott, Chris, let's go back to when it was 14-13 with Clemson having the lead. Alabama was all the way to the 1-yard line. They had the false start, ended up not scoring a touchdown. They settled for the field goal to go up 16-13. And Nick Saban continuing to reference some of the mistakes that they made, and still at the same time giving Clemson all the credit. You just wonder if they score there, a touchdown, does it get back into that mode of back and forth, because they never recovered after they had to settle for that field goal. But to me, when I walk out of this stadium, and Scott, I think about this game 5 years from now, of course you'll think about the freshman quarterback Lawrence, Justin Ross and some of those catches that he made. But Brent Venables comes up with a plan to derail Tua and that Alabama offense that's been scoring at will on almost everybody that they played. Didn't even score a point in the second half.
And you think about...
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Scotty.
You think about a 15-0 season, Bama's going to be judged harshly. They still won 14 games, but the reality is it's how you step up on the big stage. And Clemson, they got complete performance, really. Special teams, defense, offense, all of it. Checked every box.
Without question. And you point out, and I think I understand what Nick Saban's saying, there were some 4th downs, and they're down there close if they got it. But I thought we saw pretty early, fellas, whether it was going for it 4th and short from their own 35 or a field goal, which if you're going to go for it in that spot, man, let Tua try to make a play on 4th and 6. I was really baffled by that, and I would really hesitate to use the word panic about Nick Saban, because God knows he's seen it all. But it felt like the stress level was awfully high early here. Did you sense the same thing?
Yeah, when Saban is stressed on defense by an explosive offense, sometimes strange things do happen. Sometimes they can work out well, like the onside kick that helped them win the first battle, but some of the calls were funky. I mean, the fake field goal call, the call at the end of the game when it was all but decided, we're scratching our heads.
Yeah, it was like a virus to the computer. You know, you're right. This just didn't seem like Nick Saban and his team. They had miscues. They were going for it, and they're deep in their own territory. It's just very unlike Alabama. But I agree with both of you. I think he sensed, Trevor Lawrence is as good as I thought he was. Every possession is really going to be a big factor. We've got to try to do some things, but the fake field goal, I'm with you. Why not just keep to it? At that point in the game, you need a touchdown. You're not really necessarily fooling anybody, and you're running with a third-string quarterback who doesn't have a lot of speed. If you're going to fake it with that guy, throw it. You don't want to run when you have 4th and 7.
They've had some good trick plays. That might be the single worst conceived trick play on a special teams I've ever seen. A kicker as a lead blocker into that line against Clemson and Christian Wilkins? Come on, no.
With a slow quarterback.
And an electric night for the Clemson Tigers. This began the scoring. It was A.J. Terrell with a pick 6 as Tua was confused.
Skirt. Had him confused, showed man-to-man, jumped out of it, fooled him, made a good break on the ball, and took it to the house.
But Tua then answered, and in a 7-7 game, it was Travis Etienne with the first of his 3 touchdowns, 17 yards around the end.
At this point in the game, it looked like it was just going to be one of those games, a shootout, back and forth and back and forth. I mean, we had 21 points scored, and we weren't even 5 minutes into this game.
Alabama had the lead for the last time until Etienne's second touchdown standing up. And Clemson went on a 31-zip run to end this game. Here's the shovel pass for the hat trick.
And everything that they were calling was working. Into the first half was where the momentum really started to flip, and Alabama could not respond with their own offense. Big play here from freshman to freshman. Justin Ross gets off of Damian Smith, who went down with an injury. Outruns Deontay Thompson, who couldn't make a play in space. And Clemson was pulling away. Boo Sweeney showing some jets himself.
Yeah, they had 6 plays at 20-plus yards. 5 of them were passes by Lawrence. T. Higgins in on the act with a fingertip grab. They poured it on, and Bama had made some long drives trying to chip away. Just kept coming up empty in the second half.
Yeah, they just couldn't put it together on offense. Just not used to seeing Nick Saban's teams down like that. You mentioned 31 straight points, down 44-16. Tua confused the whole night, unlike Trevor Lawrence, who was in command. And it's a 4th down call, desperation mode, trying to get to the corner, but no way they can get there with that Clemson defense. Farrell makes the play on that one.
And you said give coordinator Brent Venables a game ball. He's well paid, but he's got to be the best in his profession right now.
Yeah, man, he had an interesting confidence about him, a quiet confidence at our meeting yesterday, despite having to go up against Tua, made the right calls, and at the end of the night, Christian Wilkins, the seasoned veteran and the true freshman quarterback, embrace one another and celebrate that championship.
And Tua Tagovailoa, the hero, sprinting around in Atlanta after a game winner, consoled. He's got another season of college football, but this season belongs emphatically to Clemson Tigers, 15-0 national champions. Ways of